A very good evening to you. I'm Lisa Lord, and in our news, quality health care for all, a commitment from the Barbados government. Fire robs more than a dozen people of their home. Artists and promoters playing their part to end violence and push Caribbean unity. And in sports, the Double Crown cricket champions back on home soil.
Broadcasting from our studios in the Pine St. Michael, this is CBC News Night, starting now.
In our top story, healthcare remains an important topic for Barbadians and the authorities, and that is being reinforced as Barbados prepares to celebrate World Health Day on Sunday under the theme Universal Health, Everyone, Everywhere. Our Sharika Griffith is following the latest on that front. Good evening to you, Sharika.
Good evening to you, Lisa, and you're correct. In fact, only today we heard that the Ministry of Health is on a mission to ensure every woman, man and child has access to a full range of quality healthcare services. And while this sounds good, is it something Barbados can afford? The Minister of Health and Wellness spoke to this very question during an event earlier today.
Health Minister Lieutenant Colonel Jeffrey Bostic says a commission will be set up in the coming weeks to address the issue of funding the healthcare system.
A healthcare financing commission will be established with the commissioner given a mandate to deliver on healthcare financing within the next 18 months. And this is urgently needed to underpin the provision of universal health coverage. Some of the major issues which need to be examined include a fair means of raising funds and an agreed guaranteed package of services that people can access when needed.
Minister Bostic was speaking during a ceremony at the Garrison Savannah to kick off celebrations for World Health Day, which is celebrated worldwide on April 7th. It included the formation of a human chain link around the Independence Monument. The minister says universal health for all cannot be limited to Barbadians, but must also include CARICOM nationals living and working here. He revealed that his ministry is currently preparing a document outlining this to take to Parliament,
so that we will have a policy in relation to the treatment or providing the provision of health care for all CARICOM residents, whether or not they are skilled nationals who reside in Barbados, because we believe strongly that a threat to public health does not only come from those who call themselves Barbadians, but from all those who live, work, reside, and even pass through here on cruise ships.
And recognizing the importance of well-trained healthcare workers, Minister Bostic says his ministry and the Pan American Health Organization have joined forces to develop a human resources for health policy and action plan. Discussions are also being held with Ross University School of Medicine to establish a school of nursing.
Now, Lisa, during that event at the Garrison Savannah, PAHO WHO representative to Barbados, Dr. Godfrey Jurab, went a little further into what universal healthcare in Barbados would look like. He says it would involve things such as HIV screening at all healthcare centers and polyclinics, available and equally important affordable medication and treatment for people with NCDs. And another one that stood out for me is providing immunization services outside of normal working hours so that mothers who work can take their children.
Well, Sharika, it sounds pretty ambitious, especially when you consider the current healthcare challenges and the pressure that the QE8, for example, is already under.
Well, remember, Lisa, one of the first steps we've seen government take is the introduction of a 24-hour system at the Winston Scott Polyclinic and the David Thompson Healthcare and Social Services Complex. The minister says government is working assiduously to get this up and running by June 1st as promised. And this is expected to, of course, take some of the pressure off the hospital's accident and emergency department. And other initiatives to ensure healthcare for all will be rolled out in time.
And thank you so much, Sharika. Well, 16 family members are now counting their losses after fire destroyed their Princess Royal Avenue Pine St. Michael home this morning. A busy Sharika Griffith visited the scene and filed this report.
Bus driver Alvin Sobers is once again being hailed as a hero. Several years ago, Sobers drove the City Circle bus into the Accident and Emergency Department after an elderly passenger fell ill. This time around, his quick actions helped stop a fire which destroyed this 4-bedroom wall structure from spreading to nearby properties.
I was inside and my son told me, Daddy, grandhouse on fire. So I just rushed outside and I see the whole roof engulfed. I was asking where the children, by the time the children out safe. So I tried my best, get hose, join onto my pipe and try to wet down the house and everything onto the fire service arrive, get my foot cut loose, all kind of thing. But as long as grand safe, I good.
Did you manage to save anything?
Nothing was safe, nothing whatsoever.
8 officers from the Bridgetown station with 2 fire tenders responded to the call about 20 minutes to 9. They were under the command of Sub-Officer Alex Bino. Sober says the unit is occupied by a family of 16, including several children and an elderly woman who's like a mother to him.
This lady take care of my mom for me when she was living. And I told my children they must always got respect for her. Don't ever let me hear the call she by she first name. So they always call she grand. And these children be here on mornings, evening, up to 10 o'clock on the night till they say come inside, wherever the case is. All these children be here sitting down, playing and having fun. So it can be hard for the children now that knowing that these children go separate now and go elsewhere and live until the house finish.
MP for the area Santia Bradshaw was unavailable, but her father and former MP Delal Bradshaw visited the scene. He told CBC he had made contact with the Welfare Department, the National Assistance Board, and the National Housing Corporation seeking assistance for the family. Sharika Griffith, CBC News.
Well, the Salvation Army has announced plans to provide a daycare center for seniors and a shelter for battered women. Divisional Commander for Barbados Major Darrell Wilkinson disclosed the plans during a courtesy call on the Minister of People Empowerment and Elder Affairs, Cynthia Ford. The shelter will serve about 15 to 20 women and children, and the daycare center will accommodate approximately 30 senior citizens. In addition, the Salvation Army is also introducing a mentorship program where trained officers will be doing outreach work in the community to assist both young people and older adults. Minister Ford has welcomed all 3 initiatives, noting that there were critical areas where the need was indeed great. Well, support from the head of Erdeston Teachers Training College for the establishment of the position of Master Teacher in Barbados. In her mini-budget last June, Prime Minister Mia Amor-Motley announced the plans, noting it will allow the best teachers to remain in teaching and to be compensated in doing so. Principal Dr. Patricia Saul says that Erdeston stands ready to provide additional training for educators, and she says that the Master Teachers will provide mentorship to newly trained teachers,
so that they can feel confident to experiment with the new strategies in a supportive and enabling environment and hone their craft in the process. As these new teachers become more competent in their craft, the mentors would gradually withdraw and release the full responsibility for teaching and management of the classroom to the trained teachers, making way for the mentors to take on new mentees.
What's Trending is brought to you by Trident Insurance. We treat you like family.
And Lisa Boom is here now in our social media corner. Good evening, Lisa.
Good evening, Lisa. So here's what's trending tonight. Now, from this Sunday, a 7-day gun amnesty will go into effect. The move was announced earlier this week by Attorney General Dale Marshall and is all part of a plan to get illegal guns off the streets. Now, of course, our Facebook community has been reacting to this development, so let's go see what they have to say. Michael Turton doesn't believe the gun amnesty will make a big difference. He says the real criminals will not give up their guns. Well, Beatrice, that is, Thorne also says whoever is providing the criminals with the guns won't be giving up theirs either. Meanwhile, Anthony Williams offers this advice. He's suggesting the police should go out and retrieve the guns from those who take advantage of the amnesty. Well, Bajan superstar Rihanna is always trending, whether it's for her hits, her fashion choices, or even her lingerie brand. But recently, she received some backlash after the release of a new product from her makeup line. It was a highlighter called Geisha Chic, a name some found to be offensive in the Asian community. Well, once her team became aware of the feedback, they quickly pulled the product and even apologized to some people personally. Many customers praised the brand's quick response. Over to Ohio now, what law enforcement officials believe to be a big breakthrough in an 8-year-old case. Well, that took a shocking twist yesterday after a man who claimed to have been kidnapped as a child turned out to be an imposter. Here's that clip.
We had this child who said he ran away. He said he was kidnapped. It looks like back in 2011 he was kidnapped. The last name is Pitson. First name is Timothy.
The young man who claimed he is Timothy Pitson, who vanished without a trace in 2011, appears to be an imposter. DNA tests show he is actually a 24-year-old man from Ohio named Brian Michael Reaney. The FBI made the announcement late today saying DNA results have been returned, indicating the person in question is not Timothy Pitson.
Well, the man has now been charged with lying to the FBI. Over to California now, where authorities are looking for a man who chose a pretty interesting way to hide an item that he stole.
Take a good look. Do you know this guy? The brazen crook stole a $400 chainsaw from RG Equipment of Fresno, near the corner of Clinton and Fowler Avenues, by putting it in his pants. He then walked out the front door with his buddy close behind. But what they didn't know is that the whole thing was caught on one of the many surveillance cameras.
Well, I think it goes without saying that that's a pretty dangerous place to hide a chainsaw. So now take a look at this viral footage showing a water spout heading for the coast of the Malaysian island of Penang. Apparently, it was spinning over the water for about 5 minutes, but it dissipated once it made landfall. And although there was some minor damage to buildings, no injuries were reported. And that's all the time we have for What's Trending this evening. Of course, you know that you can find us easily. We're on Facebook, Instagram, and you can also reach us by email. So we'll see you next week. Lisa?
Thank you so much, Lisa. A soca artist thinks his award-winning song could help to quell some of the violence sweeping the Caribbean. That artist is Skinny Fabulous, and the song is this year's monster hit Family, which he sang with Bunji Garlin and Machel Montano. Now, the song controversially took the Road March title at Carnival 2019. Skinny says the primary message in the song is unity across the Caribbean and among people.
In terms of if this song could really change the reality of crime directly, that would be hard to measure, but indirectly, we know that songs like these allow persons to open up their minds and hearts to the idea of unity, even if it's just temporarily in effect. And in the effect is where a lot of contention can potentially happen. It allows persons to feel a little bit closer to the strangers next to them. And so in that vein, the song plays a part in reducing the animosity and the hostility that can occur in feds and in different social environments.
And Skinny was speaking to CBC News after wrapping up his performance at Gimme Soca last weekend at Pirates Cove. Lisa Boom has more.
The unofficial theme for Gimme Soca this year appeared to be regional unity based on the diverse cast, and it was a deliberate decision according to promoter Ryan Menace Davis.
We have artists from St. Vincent, from Grenada, we have Trinidadian artists, we have artists from all over the Caribbean. So instead of just doing Trinidad artists, we have artists incorporating the whole Caribbean so that we can all get the flavor, because you know the jab, the Bajans loving the jab now, so you got to give them a taste of everything.
Davis is also convinced that this type of show can make an impact on the crime situation in the region.
The violence right now in Barbados, I think that we need events like this where everybody can come together and party. Party is one. I see people hugging up and dancing together, and we need more of that. We need more love.
Now, commenting on that regional invasion of sorts, Skinny Fabulous is happy. He thinks it's a signal the smaller islands like his native St. Vincent and the Grenadines and Grenada are finally getting the respect they deserve as genres like Jab Jab grow in popularity.
We have been playing our part to the soca industry on the soca platform, and I think this is the time where we are not so caught up in being too territorial and possessive about what is ours versus what is theirs. At the end of the day, we're one Caribbean territory. So whether it's small island, whether it's Barbados, whether it's Trinidad, whether it's Jamaica, it's one turf. We're trying to get the same place anyway.
One of those is Grenadian Mandela Lynx, whose Jab Jab song Tombstone is very popular. And the Barbadians were not left out of the performances. Mole, Mikey, Marsville and Hollaback were among the local artists on stage. Hollaback says Gimme Soca is his crop over warm-up.
People scared the whole event out of the season, but soca music have evolved so like worldwide status that we can hold shows any time of the year. So I feel good to see that, out the season show I can come and support, just support my fans and everything with some great music,
And promoters say a part 2 will be coming for Crop Over. Lisa Broom, CBC News.
Barbadians are awaiting the return of the artist known as Gargamel later this month. Buju Banton is set to perform at the much-anticipated Barbados leg of his Walk to Freedom tour on the 27th. It is all part of the 2019 Barbados Reggae Festival. The Jamaican artiste takes to the stage in Trinidad and Tobago on April 21st, just before his concert at Kensington Oval. Managing Director of 7-Star Entertainment Alison Hunt is telling patrons to expect a star-studded weekend of events. She says the Long Walk to Freedom tour is a night not to miss. The show was launched in the presence of sponsors, which included the Caribbean Broadcasting Corporation at Kensington Oval.
I had the privilege of traveling to Jamaica to see the first show in Jamaica for Buju, and I came back and I was literally spellbound. It was absolutely amazing. Buju is the same Buju that we have known over the years, grown to love and respect as a musician and an artist, and I think that what we can expect here in Barbados is going to be even more spectacular.
And show promoter Al Jilk says the event has evolved over the years, embracing local artists along the way.
It moved from being a single event to 2 events when we added the vintage reggae, and then to 3 with the addition of reggae on the beach, and then to 4 when the harbor master was then plying these waters out of the little area below there, and we had the reggae party cruise. And we did something unusual. People were telling us that we are catering to the Jamaicans, but we're not catering to the Barbadian reggae singers. And we decided one year to do something about it.
A local insurance company is not only talking the talk when it comes to health insurance, they're also walking the walk. In an effort to continue promoting practices and activities that promote longevity, the Insurance Corporation of Barbados Limited introduced their Easy Wellness Sneaker Day this week. This saw staff members wearing sneakers with their uniforms and being more active and taking the stairs instead of the elevator. There was also an ambush workout in the lobby where staff and customers joined in for a quick session. ICBL Nurse Administrator Lisa Brathwaite-Graham says that the company is charged to change the culture of an inactive lifestyle which negatively impacts on the health profile of Barbadians.
It is expected that by the year 2030, 87% of all deaths will be caused by chronic non-communicable diseases. Now, ICBL last October launched a wellness program titled ICBL's Easy Wellness Program to respond to the deleterious effects of chronic non-communicable diseases. We believe strongly that it is our corporate social responsibility to be able to respond, and not just respond, but we feel very strongly in leading from the front.
Now, Nurse Brathwaite-Graham says that ICBL's Easy Wellness Program is an evidence-based, comprehensive, cost-effective intervention.
We are interested in the risk factor profile of our staff members and our clients. Why? Because if you have a risk for disease, we want to be able to know it and then be able to respond to it. So our program is designed using 5 components. We have our Easy Fit component, which gets our participants moving. We have our Easy Coach, which coaches you via disease management and lifestyle management. We have our Easy Minute, which is responsible for education and making education easily accessible via multimedia. And we also have our Easy Work component, which is interested in workshops.
Well, regionally now, Trinidad and Tobago's government says it will not follow Barbados in implementing a gun amnesty aimed at curbing gun-related crimes. Minister of National Security Stuart Young, during a news conference, says that gun amnesties work in certain countries and in certain circumstances. Earlier this week, the Barbados government announced a week-long amnesty which starts on Sunday.
We don't think that is applicable to Trinidad and Tobago. Trinidad and Tobago, the guns are being used to carry out criminal enterprise. This is not, as in the old days, someone having a rusty old revolver with 2 rounds of ammunition. They're very sophisticated weapons that unfortunately are here in Trinidad and Tobago. And we don't think there's a benefit to a gun amnesty. We think persons will just bring in older guns, but those who are using the guns to commit crime in Trinidad and Tobago are not going to put down their guns.
And Trinidad's government will also be bringing legislation to Parliament regarding the forfeiture of property obtained through criminal activities.
This is something that is going to benefit Trinidad and Tobago. This is something that's going to benefit our society. This particular piece of legislation goes directly into the heart of eradication of corruption and reduction of corruption. So anyone who says that they don't want to have to explain where their wealth has come from, immediately, in my humble opinion and my view, have something to hide.